Hello guys, a lot of you have been asking me help with myology, so I'm going to do a video in this module that will show you a little trick which will help you learn the muscles and also remember them for a long time. Okay, so myology today I'm going to make use of our back muscles. Okay, so please have your back muscles literature with you. Okay, so in the back muscles actually we have superficial muscles and deep muscles, right? So today we are going to see two of our superficial muscles, that is your trapezius and our latissimus dorsi. So these two are the superficial most muscles of our back muscles. Okay, so I'm going to teach you in this video how to know the origin, insertion and our action of each of these muscles. And with the trick that I'm showing you now, it's not exactly a trick, it is just how you study muscles. Okay, by the way which I'm showing you today, I'm confident that all of you, if you follow it properly, you will be able to remember the origin, insertion and action of all the muscles, the entire muscle in our human anatomy by heart. Okay, you will be able to learn everything. So we will start today with the back muscles, right? So first and foremost, what you have to know to study myology is not about muscles actually, it's about your bones. Okay, so for the back muscles you need to know all the bones that are involved in your back muscles. So what are the bones that are involved in your back muscles? Here I have a rough sketch of the bones that are involved. It might not look like much, but trust me, this is your occipital bone. Okay, this is your scapula, this is your clavicle, your humerus, your entire vertebral column. Again, you have your sacrum here and your pelvic bone. Okay, the same on the other side also. So with this rough sketch, always when you're studying anatomy, just go for rough sketches. Okay, don't waste your time trying to perfect the diagram and just letting out the actual facts which you have to know. So with this rough sketch of the diagram, I'm going to show you trapezius muscle and our latissimus dorsi muscle. So first we will take our trapezius muscle. First thing what we have to know about a muscle, we have to know the origin of the muscle, right? So this actually first few times you are doing it right like this, you have to keep the literature by you. Look at the textbook or literature, whatever source you are using, and draw accordingly with that. Okay, so the first time you are going to draw with me, along with me. So the trapezius muscle origin, it is actually from the external protuberance, right, of the occipital bone. It's over here, external occipital protuberance, and the superior nuchal line which is over here like this, right? So we have the superior nuchal line over there, and then we have the nuchal ligament, right? The nuchal ligament is over here like this in the entire cervical vertebrae region, and it is also originating from your supraspinous ligament of the entire thoracic vertebrae. So this is the border of your trapezius muscle in origination. Okay, but we don't need all this. We are just going to have the superior most point and the inferior most point. Inferior most point will be your 12th thoracic vertebrae supraspinous ligament, right? Since it is a supraspinous ligament, we are just going to take it as our spinous process of the thoracic vertebrae. Okay, T12. So we have the starting point, that is the external protuberance, and the ending point of the origin of trapezius muscle, that is your T12 spinous process. Actually it is a supraspinous ligament, but for to make our diagram more easier, we are just taking it as a spinous process. Okay, we have the origin now. So the second thing what we need in muscles is attachment, right, or your insertion. Where is the muscle inserted into? So our trapezius muscle, it is actually inserted into 3 points, but all these 3 points are in the same area. I'll tell you what I mean by that. The attachment point of our trapezius muscle, the first one is the spine of the scapula. This is the spine of the scapula, right? So we have that. And the second is the acromion process. Where exactly is the acromion process? Tip of spine of scapula, right? So again, it is over here. Done. The third attachment point is actually the acromion end of clavicle, which is over here. In normal anatomy, our clavicle is supposed to be like this. It's because of my diagram that it is so far away, okay? So it is supposed to be somewhere over here. Let me just redraw the clavicle for you properly so that there is no confusion. Clavicle is supposed to be like this, not the previous clavicle which was there. And this is the acromion end, okay? In the opposite side also, clavicle, it is supposed to be like this. Sorry. It is supposed to be like this. I'm not that good in drawing, okay? Sorry about that. So here, we have the acromion end, acromion process, and the spine of the scapula. So all these 3 points, we are going to cumulate them into one single point over here, okay? And now we have the origin and the insertion. Now the only thing left is to join those two. So we will be joining these 2 points like this, okay? Include the acromial end of clavicle also in this so that the fibers go through the exact same way. So here we have a boundary of our trapezius muscle, okay? This is the inferior boundary and this is the superior boundary of the trapezius muscle. Where is the medial boundary? The medial boundary is like this, okay? But we are not worried about that. Just one side we will do. That's enough, okay? So this is your trapezius muscle. We have the origin marked over here. We have the insertion marked over here. The second muscle which we are supposed to do is latissimus dorsi, right? Latissimus dorsi, actually we have the insertion point in a little bit more, what do you say, a little bit more trickier. Why? Because the attachment point is actually from your lumbar triangle, okay? Actually lumbar triangle has a fascia, okay, lumbar fascia, and it is also starting from the lumbar fascia. So that's why it's a bit tricky, but in this diagram we do not take any of the tricky parts, we just take the proper information, okay? So your latissimus dorsi, it is starting from the spinous process of your T7 around over here, T7 or T8, okay, according to different person. So it is starting from the spinous process of your T7 or T8 till the posterior part of the iliac crest, outer lip of iliac crest over here, okay? In your iliac bone, if this is your iliac bone, right, you have the anterior iliac spine, posterior iliac spine, this is the crest, okay? And here the posterior border of the iliac crest, that is where the muscle is attaching. So that is this point which I have marked. We have a superior boundary, yes, over here in the thoracic vertebrae, number 7, spinous process. We have an inferior border, yes, in the posterior border of the iliac crest. Now we need what? We need insertion, point of insertion, right? These muscle, all the fibers are going to join together. They are going to cover the scapula lower angle, okay? And they are also going to cover the anterior ribs. They are going to attach themselves to the crest of the minor tubercle of our, what do you call that, humerus, okay? It's because of my diagram that it is like this, okay? Actually it's just going to cover the scapula and go over to your humerus like that. Where exactly to your humerus? It is going to the minor tubercle of humerus, okay? Where is the minor tubercle? If this is a humerus bone, this is the head of the humerus, right? And this will be the major tubercle. Over here in the anterior part, we have the minor tubercle, remember? So in the minor tubercle, we have a crest of the minor tubercle, right? That is where it is going to get attached. So that is the attachment point of the latissimus dorsi muscle. So we have 2 of the major muscles of the back, trapezius and latissimus. So we have covered the origin and insertion of these muscles. Now the second thing, the most important part, that is the action of these muscles, right? It's very confusing. What muscle does what? It's very confusing, and to by heart that is a thing which is impossible. So we are not going to by heart that. Now in this video, without me teaching you, without anyone teaching you, without you looking at the textbook, you are going to tell me the action of the trapezius muscle. So how we are going to do that? We are going to zoom in on our trapezius muscle over here. Okay, and we already know the origin and insertion thanks to the diagram which we have drawn here. Now the origin is from the external protuberance over here till the supraspinous ligament of our thoracic vertebrae, this line, right? Now what we are going to do is, we are going to imagine rubber bands, right? Everyone is familiar with the concept of rubber bands, right? Very elastic, you can stretch it, but when you release it, it will come back to the normal size, right? So our muscles is also a little bit like our elastic rubber bands. Okay, so we are going to imagine rubber bands, and what we are going to do is, we are going to attach a rubber band to the external protuberance. We are going to attach the other end of the rubber band to the acromion of our scapula, okay, along with the acromial end of your clavicle. But more importance to the scapula here, so we are going to attach it at the acromion of your scapula, one rubber band. Okay, the other rubber band we are going to attach to the spine of the 12th thoracic vertebrae, and the other end of this rubber band is going to be on the acromion process again. Okay, like that we are just going to keep on arranging rubber bands like this, okay, to that one single point. So see how the direction of my rubber band is changing when they're coming. Initially at the top part, I draw them in the downward direction, like this direction, right? First the direction is this, right? And then the direction kind of changed, it became lateral, right? And now when I'm going to draw from the inferior side, it is going to be in the upward direction, okay, this direction. Okay, so now actually I have placed all the rubber bands here, okay, and what I have done is, I haven't just placed these rubber bands, I have stretched these rubber bands to their maximum extension possible. Okay, I have stretched them to their maximum limit. It's just waiting for me to just release them, and they will bounce back to my hand, right? They will come bite my hand. So what I'm going to do is, here I have stretched the elastic of the rubber band, okay, and I have put the scapula over here. I have stretched it maximum and I have kept it here. Now I'm going to release this end of the rubber band. Okay, so imagine what will happen when I'm releasing this end of the rubber band. The scapula will be pulled this side, right? The scapula will immediately be pulled to the center of our body. It will be pulled towards the trunk, okay? It will be pulled towards the midline of the body. So that is one of the actions of your trapezius muscle. Now imagine here I drew 3 types of elastic bands, right? I had one going in the downward direction, I had one going in the upward direction, and another one in the lateral direction. So imagine I am going to release only one type of the elastic bands at one time. Imagine I am going to release only the superior band. I am going to release only the superior band this time, okay? Only this band I am going to release. So what will happen? Where will the scapula go? The scapula will be going in this direction, right? These fibers are going to be there. I am just going to release the top fibers, these fibers, okay? So where will the scapula go? It will be pushed upwards. It will rebound in the upward direction, right? So that is your elevation of the scapula, okay? What has it done? It has elevated your scapula, Okay, so the upper fibers of the muscle will elevate the scapula. Without anyone telling you, you have found out the answer, right? The same way, imagine that I am going to release the lower fibers, these fibers. Where will the scapula go? It will go like this, right? It will depress the scapula, or it will bring the scapula downwards, right? That is what we say, scapula is lowered or depressed. Okay, so again, one more action without anyone telling you, you have guessed by yourself. Okay, and the middle one, without me telling itself, before I draw itself, please find out the answer. If these fibers are released, where will the scapula go? Obviously, it will go in this direction, right? Because that's where the elastic, this side we are holding the elastic, we are holding the rubber band, and we are releasing it from this side, only the center part we are releasing. So it will go to the opposite direction, it will be in this direction, the movement, right? So the scapula has been brought to the center of the body, again towards the midline it has been brought, right? So that is the action of your trapezius muscle in regard to the scapula. Now imagine the elastic fibers I am holding out over here. Here it is fixed. Okay, I am holding on to the scapula, and this side I am releasing it. Okay, I am releasing the fibers here. So your vertebral column will go this way. It will go towards your scapula, right? It will help to move your vertebral column, right? It will move the vertebral column towards your scapula. Again, in the same logic, use it if we are leaving the fibers one by one. Imagine I am releasing only the upper fibers. What will happen? Your head, that is your occipital bone, it will move towards the scapula to whichever side we are releasing. Whether it is in the right side, it will move to the right, or if it is these fibers which I am releasing, it will move to the left side, right? Whichever side it is that we are releasing, it will happen. Now, the same way, imagine the lower fibers being released. If the lower fibers are being released, these fibers are being released from the vertebral column, we will be bending our vertebral column towards the scapula, right? Again, the same way, imagine your middle fibers, these fibers, okay, which we already did, I guess. Okay, so that is the action of the trapezius muscle on your scapula and also on the vertebral column. Understanding how the muscle is going to work in both the ways. Okay, so this way you can learn about the action of any muscle by imagining rubber bands, just our normal rubber bands which we use in our school to create naughty trouble for our friends. Those same rubber bands can be our friends in studying muscles. All you have to remember is muscles are nothing but rubber bands. Okay, muscles are like natural rubber bands. So again, to study your maybe latissimus dorsi, maybe someone can guess even before I am telling. These are the muscle fibers, right? Try it out yourself. This is how the muscle fibers of your latissimus dorsi is going to go, and try guessing the action of the latissimus dorsi. Okay, imagine that this is like a suspended log, okay, suspended piece of wood or something, and imagine if these fibers are attached to one single point and you're releasing this, means how it will go, this part will go up, right? It will immediately turn up and this part will go towards the body. That is how it will be. Just try imagining each of the fibers how it will be, and you will get your answer pretty quickly for the action of the muscles. Okay, so hopefully this trick was good for you. It will help you. Actually, it will not help you if you just do it one time. Okay, that is not how it works. We do need to put a little bit of hard work into it, obviously. So what we are going to do is, first of all, first time when you do it, it will take a bit of time. It might take maybe 30 minutes for you to complete one area, whether it is back or abdomen or thorax or upper limb, lower limb, your facial muscles, whatever it is. Okay, so maybe first time it will take a bit of time. From the second time, what you're going to do is, you're just going to keep repeating these diagrams. It is like writing and learning. Okay, whenever we are in school, our teacher always says us, if you read you will forget, Write it 3 times, you will remember, right? So this is how we write muscles and learn. Okay, draw these sketches every day 3 times, 5 times. It takes hardly 2 minutes to finish one sketch after you have drawn it the first time. Okay, first time it will take time, yes, obviously, I know, maybe 30 minutes it will take for one single diagram. The second time you will do it faster, third time it will be even more faster. And if you do it daily, if you revise, it will take maybe 30 minutes to finish the entire muscles of the entire human body. It will take maybe 30 minutes. So keep revising the muscles like this so that you never forget where any muscle is. The moment the teacher asks you where is latissimus dorsi, you should remember this diagram. Your mind will automatically go to this area because you have been drawing it every day, right? So that is how you study the muscles, that is how you remember the muscles. Don't put more beautification into your diagrams, just put the facts, just get the points correctly, okay, and you will be able to do it. I'll show you maybe one or two more. We will just finish the second layer of muscles in the back, that is your rhomboid major and rhomboid minor, right? So rhomboid major and rhomboid minor is actually why I want to show you is it is actually beneath your trapezoid muscle, right? So if you draw it here itself, you will make it congested. Okay, you will ruin the diagram. You will not be able to understand anything. You will just have a lot of lines. So maybe do it in the other direction. Okay, and use another colored pencil or pen or whatever. If possible, use different colors for each muscle so that you never confuse it. Okay, so we will do the rhomboid major now. The rhomboid major origination, it is actually from the spinous process of your T1 to T4, right? So it is actually from over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it is from your T1 till your 1, 2, 3, 4, T4. Okay, it arises from the spinous process of the upper four thoracic vertebrae. So it's arising from over here like this rhomboid major muscle. Okay, and where is it inserting? It is inserting to the medial border of scapula. Where is the medial border of scapula? Over here, right? So that is where it is going to insert. So we will just draw the insertion like this. Okay, this is your rhomboid major muscle. You have the point of insertion and the point of origin. That is your rhomboid major. Okay, now similar to the rhomboid major, we have rhomboid minor. The rhomboid minor is actually starting from your C6 over here and C7 over here. Spinous process of C6 and C7. Okay, and it is also attached to the medial border of the scapula. Actually, for your rhomboid major, I should attach it a bit lower so that we have more space for your rhomboid minor actually. Okay, so this is how your rhomboid major and rhomboid minor is attached. Rhomboid major is starting from your T1 to the T4 spinous process over here like this. This is your rhomboid major, and then we have our rhomboid minor over here from your C6 to your C7. Okay, seeing how the rhomboid major and rhomboid minor muscles are going to be, it is very closely located. Okay, they are very close to each other and they have more or less the same action also. They are just going to draw the scapula towards the vertebral column, right? You can just imagine by the muscle fibers itself how it is going to be. Okay, so that is your superficial muscles of the back. I have done 4 muscles like this. Please do the entire back muscle. If you feel like your diagram is getting too congested, it is getting too dirty, I'm not able to understand anything, all I see is lines, then draw another sketch. Okay, make maybe 4 or 5 muscles in one diagram and do the rest in another diagram. Okay, it's just your according to your wish, how you want it, you can do it, but do all the muscles like this. Okay, and revise it every day in this pattern, and you will definitely remember it. Okay, and always try to guess the action of the muscle, and after you guess the action of the muscle, go back to the literature and check if your action was correct or not. And if your action was correct, then you have to find out the actual anatomical word, whether it was medial rotation, whether it was supination, whether it was pronation, whether it was abduction, adduction, flexion, extension, elevation, depression, whatever it is which you understood is the action of that particular muscle. So just try to remember it in the actual anatomical terminology. Okay, so that's it. Hope you guys have a wonderful time learning myology. It's such a beautiful topic, man. Have fun.